Waiver Wire, Week 14, presented by ErvinandM.com. We have 11 fantasy additions to break down before waiver claims process on Wednesday, with notable injuries from Rashad Bateman, Trevor Lawrence, Lad McConkey, Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason, Dallas Goedert, and Taysom Hill. We'll go position by position, from the most viable to pure desperation, from tight ends, running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, and DST. Don't skip, unless you're a hopeless, uncultured swine. We started off with tight ends. And Juwan Johnson. Just last week, he was tied for the most receiving targets at 19% target share. He was a yard shy of leading the receiving corps. And with Taysom Hill likely out for the rest of the season, we can expect him to draw even more targets and be more utilized to help fill that void for the offense. Noah Gray. Since week 11, Noah Gray has had 52% route share, only 13% target share, but he's been good for 49 yards per game and 4 tutties. His upcoming matchups, they're not particularly advantageous, but this is viable volume that results in respectable fantasy points. Let's look at running backs. Isaac Gurindo. You knew it was coming. CMC, done for the season. PCL. Jordan Mason, done for the season. High ankle sprain, 4 to 6 weeks. So, per Adam Schefter, the rookie is starting running back 1 duties for San Fran. I mean, it's not as exciting as waivering somebody like Mason since we have data to back up our cope, but you could do worse with the waiver than a critical starting position like Gurindo. Wide receivers next. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. For some perspective, Ikhine is right between players like Pop Douglas, Deebo Samuel, and Rome Odunze for fantasy points on the season. And he did this while missing the first 5 weeks of the season, boys and girls. I mean, he drew a 21.6% target share last week, and he faces the Jags' worst in the league pass defense this week. Roster the man. MVS. In his last 3 games, he's had 4 tutties and about 40 receiving yards per game on top. His next opponents, the Giants, who have allowed the 6th most deep passing yards per game, which is literally his entire role for this offense. So if you need a spot start or a prayer, you can answer it. Brandon Cooks, after missing 8 weeks of the season, he returned to Dallas and shared 51% of the routes and 19.4% of the target share. His next 3 pass defenses, this is where it gets juicy, is Cincinnati, 27th worst, Carolina, 24th, and Tampa, 30th worst in the league. There's more than a path for him moving forward, especially with Lamb continuously being blanketed every single game that he plays. And Adam Thielen. Did y'all see this catch? Look at this. This is a 34-year-old man. One-handed, baby. Woo! I hate doing anyone near 50%, but it's got to be said. I was one of the first to write him off, but brothers and sisters, if this man is available, he could be the most valuable waiver wire addition aside from Gurindo. 8 receptions, 22% target share, 99 yards, and a touchdown. Could have been 2. With the new and improved Bryce Young under center. Quarterbacks next. Russell Wilson, Mr.
Unlimited.
Just had his 2nd best game of his career. And aside from his last game, has shown on multiple occasions this season why they benched Fields in favor of him with a couple top 10 quarterback finishes. The only thing that could be sweeter, besides him going back to this hairstyle, would be his matchups. They're not that ideal, but don't let that deter you. He's still clearly the best streaming quarterback option over everybody else. Do the defenses. The Arizona Cardinals. Aside from multiple double-digit fantasy performances this season, they just sacked Sam Darnold 5 times this past Sunday. Next week, they get the Seahawks, then it's the Pats and the Panthers. And you could easily ride this defense all the way to the championship. But if you like streaming, this is purely for Week 14. The New Orleans Saints. We're going up against the Giants. And it doesn't matter if it's DeVito, who's taken 37 sacks, or Drew Lock, who just threw an interception and was sacked 4 times last week. The Saints should be in great position to rack up some easy fantasy points this week. If you prefer weekly streams, they're the defense you want, period. And the Tennessee Titans. Look, they faced the Jaguars this week with McCorkle Jones, who in his 2 starts, he threw 3 interceptions. I mean, the Jags have allowed 14 turnovers in the last 8 games. I mean, I know their matchup against Washington was embarrassing, but this week, they ought to get some revenge. These 11 players are the most viable options based off Week 13 production, availability, and outlook. Subscribe, turn on post notifications so you stay prepared for Sunday. Visit my store, buy something, and watch some more videos.